the podcast. I'm your host, Brother Sean Brumfield, and today I've got Brother Ryan Brown with me.
Hey, everybody.
Well, guys, I want to first start off saying I'm sorry we didn't get anything out last week. It kind of a bummer, but had a lot of things go on. Brother Ryan and I were both out of town for, on our own thing, doing our own things. Brother Jonathan had to work, so just wasn't any way to get anything out there. And sometimes that happens, but we're going to try to do better and make sure that it doesn't happen that very often.
Well, there was some other things that kind of popped up because we had the day that we were going to record to make sure that we had something out, but then there was a couple other kind of emergencies that popped up that just kind of, and that's how life goes. We can always try to plan stuff, and we do try to make sure that we plan. Maybe not necessarily everything we're going to talk about from time to time, but we do plan out schedules, trying to get everybody on to be able to do recording. But, life is what it is. So
unfortunately, when life is just crazy, I was going to say ministry, but
no, it's
just life in general.
It's
just tough, man.
Yeah.
So how's things going on your front?
Man, feeling old.
Yeah, guys, we missed Brother Ryan's birthday. He just turned 40.
Yeah, I don't feel. Everybody asked me. I had a ton of course, my sister was the best one. Happy 80th birthday, old man.
Lord.
And I've had a ton of old man comments.
Yeah,
and my students are loving it because I'm the oldest teacher. Which
really?
Yeah, and on junior high school front. Well, I'm not the oldest, but I'm the second oldest. But the oldest is a lady, so you don't ever make little comments about their age, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
They're
the old
like
man
25.
of the group. The other male teacher that they hired on this year, he is turning 30 in May. So there's 10 years difference between us, and these students, they've been having a blast with it. Of course, they coaxed me into playing volleyball with them again, just to watch an old man die for a ball because I'm too comfortable. In
high school, I'd have died. I'd have had a blast if my oldest teacher was 40. But there's some teachers that are just refuse to give up the ghost.
Yeah, they had the old school mom look to them.
Yeah, you're just kind of
you knew in their mind they were wanting to hit you with a yardstick.
Yeah, I had that German lady doesn't exactly shave the top of her lip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why don't you do your homework? Smack.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was a good time. Turn 40, then move furniture, and getting coaxed into moving more furniture, moving tables. So
Gotta start a business then.
No, I've moved my fair share of furniture. Mom and Dad has that store, and I get to where I help them a lot. But
that is not something that I would ever want to get into, moving furniture.
Moving?
All the time. No,
not at all.
No,
especially other people's furniture. If it's mine, I bought it, and it gets dinged up. I'm like, man.
Or if I ding up my own wall or something.
Like, man, dummy, what'd you do that for?
Well, it's like that.
Oh well.
That we went and we picked up that bed suit for Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's like I walked in that place, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was a very nice.
Yeah, super.
And every time I heard a ding ding ding, I'm like, they're gonna back charge me. $5,000.
I'm gonna call from a lawyer somewhere.
Oh well, they'll call somebody else and won't call me. Oh man, May the 4th be with you guys.
Oh, there we go.
May the 4th. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, National Star Wars Day.
Yeah. It's also International Firefighters Day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
KIND Day. And that's exactly, so it's supposed to be kind, I'm assuming, but it's K.I.N.D. Day.
Was that like dare?
I don't know. I'll have to read this one. No, it's something for new parents. Kids in Needs of Diapers Day.
So free diaper day. Maybe.
So it's not being kind.
No.
Well, it is, I guess, if you're giving diapers away.
Yeah.
So let's see here. It was established to help families that are struggling with the cost of diapers for their babies. Dude, there's a lot of struggling costs for a lot of things right now, ain't there?
Yeah. Gas $5 a gallon.
Golly.
Goodness gracious.
Anti-bullying day. Obviously Star Wars Day.
Yeah, nobody will forget that.
Now this is one that I can get on board with. All right, this is my holiday.
Okay.
Petite and Proud Day.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to talk about tacos or something. I didn't expect you to say that.
Oh man, that's hilarious. National Renewal Day. Let's see here. World Give Day, National Candied Orange Peel Day.
Candy to orange peel?
Candied orange peel.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, nasty.
Nah, I can get on with them gummy orange slices.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, them are delicious.
Bird Day.
Yeah.
Here we go. International Respect for Chickens Day. I respect them.
Yeah.
I respect everyone that gave their life for me to enjoy.
I've been going to Popeyes.
Oh man, last two. I mean, there's a couple other ones. I'm skipping over the really dumb ones. I mean, you do have Rhode Island Independence Day. I don't know what that is. Rhode Island's not independent. They're part of the United States.
Yeah,
but they've got an Independence Day. If anybody listens from Rhode Island, why don't you message and tell us what that's all about?
Let us know what that's about.
National Self-Employed Day. And in this one, which I think just goes out the window because you don't have this today, but National Day of Reason. And I throw that out the window because I've never seen a day where you can't reason with anybody.
Your opinions don't matter.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like it's you either have our opinion or no opinion.
Yeah. We're really missing in this day and hour the time where nobody ever sees everything 100%. So if you don't see it my way, that doesn't mean that you're automatically wrong and a bad person. But man, I mean, we're at the point now where if you don't see it my way, you are my brutal enemy, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the dumbest thing ever.
I mean, we're looking at people that are just making stupid decisions over craziest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get cut off in traffic, they'll get out and pop you.
Yeah.
You know, you're like,
pull over.
Gracious.
And come out
Yeah.
at you.
The Karens are like crazy.
Yeah, that is definitely something that you see today. It's all about me, mine, and whatever I want to get. I had a tremendous experience, and it tested my sanctification. Last week? We went to Washington, D.C. again, 8th grade field trip, and my twins had went. And so my wife said, you got to take them. You got to go with them. They can't go without you. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. Plus, I'm an employee of the school, so they liked having the extra, person to kind of watch and make sure everything went smoothly. So we get there, and they don't have a place to be able to park the bus. And so I got recruited to help drive. We had 2 15-passenger vans. So our security, the guy that's part of our security team, and then myself, we went to go try to find a parking space. Oh, my goodness, man. I will tell you right now, Washington, D.C., the horn is the international love language.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
I've never been there.
And I watched it, okay? I watched where somebody honked the horn. I witnessed this because I was driving, and it really took a lot for me not to hit my horn.
Yeah.
But I watched as somebody hit the horn like 5 cars up. It wasn't close. And then I watched the person next to me look around to see who was honking, and so then honked their horn, which got the person in front of them to look around, and then they honk their horn. Next thing you know, it's just a chain of horn honking, and nobody knows why. They're just doing it because you have to respond in kind.
Are you a horn honker? Wow. A horn honker? Oh, that was hard. That was unbelievably hard.
Not in general. I mean, you would really have to be getting ready to take my front end out.
So what about somebody that's sitting at the stoplight and they've sat there a good while?
I don't typically honk my horn at them.
You don't even do like a little burp?
I mean, if they've been there for a while,
I mean, like they're
not paying any attention.
You know they're playing on their phone.
Yeah, I will get their attention on that.
My wife says I'm mean because I do that.
Yeah. Well, my wife is one that she watches when I'm driving, and it's like green. Seriously, it goes green. My wife goes go, so it's green go, and I'm like, I haven't even got enough time to move my foot from the brake to the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Well, you were sitting there forever. I was like, it literally just turned green.
Yeah.
Like just now, like just turned green.
My grandpa will do that all the time. I had this crazy event the other day. I was driving through Middletown and coming to your house, and I was getting ready to turn left, and this I'm just gonna say this crackhead comes across the the street, like talking to herself and like throwing her hands up, and like I have the green, she has the red hand, and she just stops dead in the middle of my car, just like starts looking at me, and I may or may not have like revved it a little bit, like it like makes you good jump a little bit forward, try to get her out of the way, and I was like. And once I got away, I was like, watch out, you know? I was like, come on, next time I'm going to hit you. Like, you're like a goose. This is done.
That's what I don't understand, these people that are protesting, and they protest in the middle of the highway.
Oh, dude.
Like, okay, dude, number one, you're not big enough to stop my car.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in my truck, like, I don't want to hit anybody.
Yeah.
But if you're going to sit there and you're protesting, and I have absolutely nothing to do with any of this stuff,
yeah,
I guarantee you I'm going to win.
Some of these people just drive right through them, man.
Yeah, which is the way to do it.
Yeah,
drag them.
I'm gonna tell you, hit my car. I am not stopping.
I'm not trying to be mean. Obviously, I wouldn't want anybody to lose their life or anything like that. But if you're going to be dumb enough,
if you're stupid
to get on the highway and try to stop traffic like that, like I know you're not going to win against a car.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I guarantee after that first splatter.
I mean, these semi trucks. I watch them. They're so brave and daft to get out in front of a semi truck.
You think they're brave, or you think it's the stupidity?
Well, it's stupidity. It's the same stupidity that governs a guy to run into a meal with a whole bunch of congressional leaders with a gun.
Yeah. How did he make it out of there alive?
I don't really know. Have you seen the video?
Yeah, I've seen it where he like runs through the scanners.
Yeah,
like he shoots. He looks and tries to shoot a cop.
He did shoot one of them.
Yeah, he did shoot
one of them, but they got hit in the vest. So
I don't know. I didn't know if that was the cop who got hit or not. So I said it like that. But yeah, I don't know. And is this the third attempt?
Well, yeah. So the first attempt got him in the ear. The second attempt, they caught the guy before he was able to do anything.
Yeah.
And then this guy come out. This was a teacher from California.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
From California, yeah, maybe. But which is one of those deals, because we left. So we went to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, and then we left on Saturday morning. We were there on Friday where that shooting happened. We got to tour the White House this go around. We got to tour the Capitol building, which I will tell you, the White House was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in the White House. I mean, our tour got cut short because they were preparing for that congressional or whatever dinner it was. And then they were preparing for the King and Queen of England to visit. So we didn't get to see parts of the tour because they were closing those parts down.
Yeah.
Because they tour you in actual parts of the White House that they use. So my wife was reading a news article and they were showing pictures of Trump and the King Charles talking, and they were in a room, and I kind of looked over her shoulder at the article and I said, "Hey, I was in that room." She goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And I pulled up pictures and I showed her. She goes, "That's the actual couch they sit on." I said, "Yeah, they were active rooms. Like, you're not walking through a museum. They legitimately use these rooms that they let you tour." But it took us longer to get into the White House than it did to walk through it, which is, to me, is kind of disappointing. But
I mean, the White House itself really isn't that big by itself. Like, just the main portion that was made as the White House before you go into the
No. They built the east and west wings and stuff like that. That's what makes it huge. And they spend most of their time, as far as like the Oval Office and everything like that, most of the stuff it's done is done in the West Wing.
Yeah.
And he was there, actually. Obviously, Trump was there. He was actually in the West Wing. I have several people that claim that they saw J.D. Vance. I don't know. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But my boy, Caden, he bought a red, white, and blue bow tie, and he was going to wear it to church. But Becca said, absolutely not. It's not going to happen because it's not July 4th.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So he wore it, and he goes, I want to wear this to the White House, and if by any chance that Trump comes out, I want him to sign it, or I want to see if I can give it to somebody, give it to him to sign, and then they mail it back to me. And I said, buddy, that's not going to happen. But I give him his props, man.
Big dreams, dude.
He talked to the Secret Service agents, and they said, nah, but you can write him a letter. So, I told him, it's like, well, you got to write a letter. He said, I don't know what to write. It's like, well, don't send him the bow tie because they probably will flag that and then put you on a no-fly list for the rest of your life.
It would be kind of daunting to write the president a letter.
I did it one year for a class project.
Did you?
Yeah. I can't remember. I think it was maybe Bush Senior. It could have been Clinton. He could have been in office then. But I got a letter back, but it was a form letter. There ain't no way in the world any president's going to sit down and read my letter.
Yeah.
And write me a handwritten note. It was a typed up form letter with a stamped.
Yeah. He's a modern Santa Claus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is, you kind of expect that, like.
He's got bigger stuff to.
Yeah. Like I said, he's not going to take his time to.
He's bombing cities right now, so he don't have time to read anybody's letters.
I will tell you what surprised me, and I never realized it, but what surprised me was there was a lot of paganistic culture brought into the Capitol building.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a painting. I can't remember who painted it, but if you see the picture of the Capitol building, the big dome on top.
Yeah.
Well, if you go into the Capitol building, it's kind of like the cathedral paintings.
Yeah.
But it's our version of it. So the individual drew this cathedral painting, and he drew basically George Washington sitting up in heaven looking down on you. And that's what it's supposed to resemble. Basically, it's resembling George Washington in a godlike state, kind of like Greek mythology. So a whole lot of paganistic views. And then it's got these two ladies next to him. It's supposed to represent, I can't remember what they represented, but it was all paganistic. And then you have this
like
big
Lady Liberty and stuff like that.
You got this big view of heaven, and there's a whole lot of other things about it. It's very, very, very paganistic.
Well, they say that there's a lot of hidden ritualism amongst our society, as far as like the all-seeing eye, like that, and the pyramid and stuff like that. And some people believe that we were already a civilized nation before anybody actually came over here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't believe that. It's conspiracy, but
yeah.
And like some of the stuff they're talking about is like, well, why in the world are they using columns that are like made from like the Roman era and the Greeks and stuff? Like why is that our architecture when we should have been more colonial looking? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they came, but you got to figure. With that being said, okay, maybe so, but you got to figure they came from. Some of this stuff we got from other countries. Yeah. Period.
Well, I'm not saying that that's the evidence for.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, why is that the architecture?
It's just I think in that sense it looks pretty. That architecture is like.
Yeah, it's just ancient democracy.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know. They don't really get into why.
No,
but
don't you think it's weird that there are like these specific like. You even compare it. When you compare it to the pagan stuff, which would be more mythology.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was weird. I will say it was weird to me that in a country where the forefathers founded it for a Christian nation, because this happened. It wasn't like it was recent where there's been this identity crisis as far as whether we're still a Christian nation and all that stuff.
Right.
This happened when there was no debate. And that doesn't mean that there isn't, even then, that there wasn't other cultural pulls or beliefs. Not everybody that came over was a staunch Christian. I understand that. But at a time where they founded it on the Bible and all that stuff to draw this paganistic thing, it just kind of threw me off.
Well, I think that we would probably agree that most of those people that came here were probably good morals, and the morals
for the most part,
based off of the Bible.
For the most part, you do have ones that had their mistresses and all that stuff. So
but that was their governing was, even though they did wrong.
Yeah,
their governing was still a biblical base.
Yeah. Saved is a whole nother story, but
that's why I'm saying more moral. They're more. They have a knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
Whereas now there is no such thing as
Right.
that knowledge.
And then they had which I didn't see it, but I had several of the teachers come up and they were talking to me, but there was a fountain outside of the Capitol building and I never paid no attention to it, but it had a pagan statue in the middle of it. So that kind of stuff was weird. Between the two, the Capitol building was the better tour because they actually gave you a guided tour. You had a tour guide and all that stuff. But it kind of was like, it really surprised me what was actually in the Capitol building versus, and it wasn't like it was this thing where they were like, well, he was the founding father or the first president, and so we lifted him up and we're showing him this adulation.
Yeah,
like the whole intention was to put him up with the gods, and that's exactly how it was brought to us.
I don't know what you're looking for, but maybe whoever painted it had a misinterpretation of, or like their intention was maybe a little different of he was in heaven, but I don't know.
I don't know. The tour guide literally said they put him up there with the gods.
Wow.
I mean, that was part of the tour. Those were her words. So that's what I'm saying. It was like, that was the intent. Now, beautiful as all get out.
Yeah.
And there's this other painting that tells the entire story of the United States from the first time that people from the New World found it, like Christopher Columbus, all the way up to Revolutionary War and all that stuff and Civil War. And it was painted in a way that it looked like it was actually carving.
Yeah.
It was 3D.
That's cool.
It looked like somebody actually chiseled it out, but it actually wasn't. It was just a painting. And it was painted by the same guy.
I got to tell you something. When I was a teenager learning about American history, I thought it was so boring. I enjoyed world history the better.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just because like, I mean, like my mom and dad are obviously like support America and all that, but like they're not, I wouldn't say they're huge like history buffs. So like, and like, as far as like that sort of like patriotism, because like to me, I think patriotism is knowing the history and supporting, all of it, it's not just like, yeah, America,
Yeah.
I feel like you got to go a little bit deeper in knowing the roots of what America is. So I guess we didn't really talk a lot about American history or anything like that. We must have talked about the Bible at home.
Yeah. I love American history. Yeah. I love history in general, but I love American history. But it's kind of funny because patriotism before the Civil War days was viewed differently.
Yeah.
It wasn't viewed for like this, like the whole United States together. It was the states. They were patriots to their states, which was attached to the United States. So if they were a patriot to the state, then that automatically in their mind made them an actual patriot to their country.
Right.
Because their state was in their country. That's why you had certain ones like Jackson and Robert E. Lee and stuff like that would not fight against Virginia.
Well, another thing too is that going back to where they came from, a state is bigger than where their country was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Realistically.
Right.
And I guess that makes sense for the State of the Union when you've got everything put together.
Right.
And in the way that it was because that part has been lost. If we had more loyalty to our state, we probably wouldn't be in such a big mess that we're in.
You know how many people I have heard that live in Ohio that's like, oh, I hate living in Ohio. And it's mainly weather because, our weather can change. But in all honesty, I love it.
I think Ohio's a great state.
Yeah.
I would still like to.
I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that maybe one day I won't move away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as far as the state goes,
it's easy going. There's no alligators, no bears, no earthquakes, no hurricanes.
For the most part, we have had.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like a real hurricane.
Right.
We're getting 100-foot walls of water coming into our city. I mean, we get a lot of water, but it's more, we got a foot.
We've become more of a tornado alley.
Yeah, that has changed.
We have become more of a tornado alley, but I think that's a change of the weather.
Yeah.
I mean,
and obviously this year tornadoes have been rather quiet.
Yeah, we haven't had like we normally do.
No, we just have had a lot of water.
Yeah.
The water's been unbelievable this year.
Except for not anymore. March was killer.
Yeah.
And then it stopped.
April, it kind of worries me because it was very tame.
Mm-hmm.
April was, we had one bad storm from the insurance world where we came back and had a ton of claims because of wind. But other than that, it's been a very, very...
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It could be a drought this year.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, what else would help out with the $5 gas prices? No crops?
Yeah, no thanks. We're just gonna all be in poverty by 2027.
Man, I'm telling you, this whole thing is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I don't see why we don't use our own reserves to keep our prices down.
I mean, especially for the short term that he's talking about.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think he's going to draw it out to years. I think it's going to be by the end of the year. I think he'll have a solution.
Yeah, but he's doing some things that worries me, like drawing troops out of Germany and Spain and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what my theory is. And we are not a political podcast, by the way. But my theory is he's going to leave and get done with Iran, and he's going to go straight to China, I feel like.
I don't know. He talked like he was going to take over another island.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't read that. I seen the thing come up this morning, and I didn't read the thing, so I don't know who. But I don't know. With that being said, there's a lot to pray about. I mean,
oh man,
the thing about it is there's a lot of stuff that happens.
The big thing to worry about is that the people he's messing with are in end times, and we are not.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary part, and it's what is going to turn up out of that.
Kind of stirring up a hornet's nest.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But I don't know. I was told, and I've actually been told by more than one person now, because he used to say that he could run for a third term.
Yeah,
and he still does that. In fact, in Washington D.C., I can't tell you how many times I've seen a Trump 2028 hat people were selling and wearing. On like, okay, if I'm going to buy that and I'm going to wear it, I'm doing it just to get a response.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're doing that just to get somebody to say something to you. But I was actually looking over history. So it is written in the Constitution that if a president if he's a sitting president and they bring up impeachment and they fail, it nullifies his first term. He can run for another first term. So they tried to impeach Trump.
Yeah.
He did not get impeached.
Yeah, and he knows that. He knows that.
Right. It actually went through one, but it failed the other. So they failed to impeach him. So by rights, his first term was null and void.
Yeah.
Even though he was sitting president, by rights, that impeachment process nullified his first term of presidency. So technically, if you want to look at it, he's sitting in his first actual term of presidency, which means that he could run again in 2028. I pray to God that he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't, because that I mean, look, I support. I voted for him both times. I mean, there was nowhere else to go during that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I support the way, you got to admit, old boy gets stuff done. There's other presidents you're like,
I'm going to receive hate for saying that. I know I will, but I've never been if we're not careful, we've sat him up on this pedestal.
Yeah.
It really has become almost an idol type deal.
Yes.
I voted for him. Both times, but he was never my pick.
No.
He was
the only option.
He was the only option I had when it came time for the ticket.
Vote for sinfulness, and I'm not doing that. No matter how much I
which technically people are going to argue, and you're right. He's not saved.
No,
by any stretch of the means. But
here's the thing. I mean, God uses wicked men. I mean, it's just a simple fact. I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
I think some people get upset, and I mean, trust me, I hate the way he runs his mouth sometimes. I wish he would just kind of just stay quiet and somebody would take his phone. But
don't put out pictures that make him look like Jesus.
Yeah, I absolutely. Oh man, he made me so mad when he did that.
Me too.
And it's just like but the only thing that I can find solace in is that we read in the scripture that the government sits on his shoulders.
Yeah,
and it's like Brother Peyton, when he was with us, and I'm sure everybody listened to that interview, he preached a message talking about one of the prophets, Helper.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm sure you remember the message too, because he was like, he pretty much took the message and said, I'm going to do what I want with this. I've built it up. I can tear it down.
Right.
I'll bless who I will bless. And it's just kind of, and he said, but here's I think it was it Jeremiah's?
Yes. Yeah, it was Jeremiah's helper.
Yeah,
it was
helper.
the one that he had wrote. And then it finally, I can't remember what chapter it's in,
it's
but
like
finally,
the very end of it.
Yeah, finally it was like this helper realized he's been writing his stuff down for Jeremiah, and
he's part of it.
This is going to affect me too.
Yeah, and the Lord said, I hear your distress, and I will deal with what I want, because it's mine. But he did tell him, he said, wherever you go, you will have your life. And I think that's the one thing too, is like this world is heading towards judgment.
Yeah.
And if I look at the way things are moving, Trump is just a means to get to that end.
Well, he was his first time. I mean, the fact that he called Jerusalem the capital of Israel, right? And he had America put their consulate in there, so all that stuff. There's been a lot of things that he's done that he's been means to some things that you read in Scripture that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying again, there's no implication that he's
I mean, we're not saying
not at all, but there are things that set up very clearly in the Bible,
right?
And it's going to take some of those things is going to take men in power, to do it.
I mean, things are lining up. I mean, obviously we don't try to hit end times all that much, but I mean, you got now with AI, you got a bunch of these animatronic stuff going on. I mean, when you take some of the written word from like Revelations and stuff, where it talks about and they give life to the image. I mean, we have the technology.
Oh, I think AI
for that.
I think AI is going to be something to help set up the mark of the beast.
And I really believe, I believe AI has spiritual ties to it. I think in a way, it's a way for spirits to like embody something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's no way for a man to create these fake intelligences. You know what I mean? I mean, the right word's artificial, but I mean, you can't even. We can't do that. There's just no way for anybody to really pull something that all that we can do is have something that recalls and reflects off of information we've already gave it.
Yeah.
But to bring in something that is digital life, I mean, that in itself like defeats the purpose of life. I mean, you can't have that. I don't know, man. It's some scary stuff.
It is. It is. Cryptocurrency is helping. All that stuff will help set up for a cashless nation, which we're heading that way now. There's a lot of places that's not accepting cash, and that's not good.
Yeah.
It really isn't. But what do you do? It's just the way that it's going to go. So there's going to be a lot of things that's going to happen. They'll start going into a one world government. They're kind of trying to push little things.
Yeah, there's
like
a bunch of that going on right now.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with Bill Gates and King Charles. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Bill Gates is a wicked man.
Oh, man, is he wicked.
But anyway, so I will say we did get to go to the Holocaust Museum.
Oh, that's the kind of stuff I like.
That was heavy.
Oh yeah,
that was heavy. It really affected Caden when I went and seen him. He was like, I couldn't stay in there. Like he kind of went through it real quick. I read things and stuff like that, but we didn't get to spend a ton of time in there because we were going to go to the White House. So we got in there before we went to the White House tour, so we could walk it kind of slow, but not sit and read every single thing, which I don't know if I could have taken reading every single bit of information. But there was one part of the Holocaust Museum that you walk through, and it's shoes on both ends. That's all it is. And it was like, it said something like, we are the last things that remain from something to the nature of we are what remains from the lives that were taken, or something like that. And it was all, and I mean, looking at all those shoes that were from that time, and then even tiny like kid shoes, it was absolutely
and to know that was just a sum of the shoes. Like,
that wasn't even all of them. That was just a portion of it. That was pretty heavy.
The Holocaust is something that man, it's just unfathomable to think that there was so much support for it over there.
Well, it just shows
you know what I mean?
It just shows you. There's a saying: history repeats itself.
Yeah.
It shows you how. Again, I might get hate for this, but this is just the truth. How easily persuaded people can be.
Oh yeah.
To actually be so supportive of a person that they're willingly ignorant of a situation.
Just blindly following somebody.
Yeah. They're willingly ignorant. How can somebody have so much hatred for a person to do something that bad? And it's wickedness, it's sin.
Yeah.
I won't get into some of the other things that because there was something that God did. God did through that is he got them to go back to Israel, and then it was not long after that Israel, formed a nation. But God used that situation, and he got them to go home.
Right.
I'm not saying that God brought that on. I'm just saying God used the situation to.
Well, I mean, when you really look at the situation, I mean the Israeli people or the Jewish people have always fallen into trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even throughout you read your Bible very long, and you'll find out that the Israelites they would serve God and they would worship something evil. And I mean, you read towards you get into the New Testament, and I mean, there's a curse put upon them. You know what I mean? It just is what it is, and it's a means to try to bring them back.
Yeah.
God, because here's the thing, man. Do you get into the Orthodox Jews? They hate the name of Jesus. You say Jesus, they'll spit on you. You know, they will absolutely. They will they'll blaspheme his name and stuff like this, and it's just like you really have no idea. They're just so closed-minded. It literally makes me think of that. Who's in a strong delusion? Mm-hmm. And that's literally what is set upon them in some cases. With them, I'm not saying that they have that. That God, every Jew is like that. I'm just saying the ones that are like in deep with it, and that hatred that comes out is just so unbelievable. And like when you look at the situation, I mean, I'm not saying that they deserve this stuff. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying they have found themselves in some pretty hard situations.
All the way up through Old Testament.
Yeah.
They really have. But God's used every situation for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether people see it or not, that's just the truth. What got them to go home? Well, all that they went through got them to return.
Adversity.
What got them to go back to Israel, and they were able to create a nation. That had to happen because that was biblical. That had to take place. So it was what's is unfathomable is it wasn't just Jewish people.
Yeah.
Because you had Polish, you had other ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
gypsies, homosexuals.
Yeah, he killed. I mean, they killed millions upon millions of people. Ultimately, Jewish race, but
that was his main focus.
It wasn't just them. But what blows my mind are the people that come out of there saying all this is just a big conspiracy. Because there's so many people today that don't believe that the Holocaust ever happened.
Yeah, and you can't even say the word Holocaust in Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
it's
crazy.
It's one of those deals. It's like, man, this is some eye opening, stuff. But
have you ever I've always wanted to go to Auschwitz.
No,
really,
no. I don't know that I would want to go. I've always wanted to go to Europe. Like, I'd love to see Germany. I've got some heritage from Germany. I'd love to see Ireland because I've got some heritage from there too. But I would want to see like Auschwitz or something like that. I'd like to go to Austria. I think Austria would be absolutely gorgeous.
You want to go to that's where Hitler was from, right? Was Austria?
No, I mean, not because of Hitler.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
I'd like to go there. I'd like to go to Sweden.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I'd.
See, I don't know. I don't think I would ever want to go to Italy. I've heard Italy is very underwhelming.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Venice. I think Venice would be kind of cool.
I've heard it's dirty.
Everywhere over there is dirty, right? You have to pay to use the bathroom.
I know that. I know that. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I will tell you one place I'd love to go to. I'd love to go to Japan.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I would love to go to Japan.
I would get lost there, but yeah.
Yeah.
I would love driving those bullet trains.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah. Hey, the subway at Washington, that was fun. It is very stressing when you're taking 8th graders on it, but it was fun.
You think the subways in Japan are nasty, or do you think they're pretty clean?
I don't know. I mean, the one in Washington D.C. wasn't nasty.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually. And I talked to, because we had some adults there that was like, "Oh, this ain't nothing. It's like New York, but it's not." I said, "Well, what's the difference?" It's definitely cleaner. However,
I have no desire ever in this world to ever go to New York or California. Never. Well, okay, city of New York. I would probably go visit like the outskirts of New York to like see they say that there's some beautiful countryside out there.
I would like, if I went to New York, I'd want to go there for 2 reasons. I want to go there to see the memorial for the Twin Towers.
Uh-huh.
My parents and my sister went, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I'd love to see that. And I'd love to go to Brooklyn Tabernacle.
Mm.
My parents and my sister got to go there too, and they said it was an amazing thing.
The one for service?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They got a great choir.
And like, they do not let any visitors take out their phone whatsoever.
So you're not.
No, my sister got it out to kind of just take a picture of the thing, and an usher came up and said, "We are here to worship. We are not here to be on our phone.
Yeah,
put it away or get out."
Not just that, but most of the songs have a copyright on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but their intention is to worship the Lord. I've read some of this stuff. I can't remember what's his name. I can't remember his name. I know it's Simbalia or something like that, but he's got some pretty good stuff. I don't know where he sits as far as like holiness and all that stuff, but he's got some pretty good stuff. It's a neat story to read when he first got at Brooklyn.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, nah, New York is not.
But I wouldn't want to do that as far as like going through the city and stuff and seeing
so nasty,
all that stuff. I wouldn't.
Piles.
Yeah, I wouldn't have nothing to do with that.
To be honest, I thought like out west would be kind of, like go to Washington and Colorado and stuff, and now I'm kind of like, no. After all those riots and stuff during COVID, and Seattle probably still super unsettled. Like, it's just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things out there that's pretty, but I wouldn't want to do nothing. I've heard there's a lot of pretty places in California. Though unfortunately, it's the stigma of
I would
Hollywood.
Love to see the Redwood.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
Redwood Forest.
That would be pretty.
Yeah, I would love that.
I'd like to go to the Grand Canyon. I think that would be cool.
I always want to see the painted sands in Arizona.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I want to go to Alaska so bad I can't stand it.
My mom and dad almost moved to Alaska when I was
really.
Yeah.
I want to go to Alaska so bad. I don't want to go, not to go through winter or anything like that, but I would love to see the countryside.
Yeah, just wake up and grizzly bears.
Yeah, don't bother me.
Tearing your car apart.
It's fine.
You ever see these people like go up in the tundra and like they're next to these polar bears, and these polar bears are like, they'll be like up on a deck or something. They'll try to like pull them out and stuff.
Mm-mm.
You have to look it up. Or like they get in these weird cages.
Are they offering them Coke?
I don't know.
I mean, if they just come out with a Coke bottle, man.
They start dancing, and it's like Happy Feet.
So, but yeah, it was fun. I will say that of my trips to Washington, D.C., my favorite thing still was the Library of Congress, which we did that last year. That was my favorite. And then you can't beat some of the memorials.
Yeah.
We went through the Jefferson, the FDR, and the Martin Luther King Memorial. We did that as the sun was setting and it started getting dark, so it was all lit up. To watch the sunset at the Jefferson Memorial over the Potomac was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just like one of the best sunsets that I've ever seen in my life. And then you go through and you see all the...
You just hear the Star Spangled Banner just playing in the background.
Yeah, like, because it's going over the White House. So, like, because from the Jefferson Memorial, you can see the White House.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, the
back of your mind, you're going, America!
Something else that was weird, and it wasn't that bad last year. It could have been there, and I just not paying any attention. But last year it wasn't. But this year, man, there were so many people walking around smoking joints.
Oh, really?
Marijuana use is huge.
Man.
I sat next to one old boy. I didn't sit next to him. I was standing. We got on the subway. We was heading to the Capitol building. And just right there on the subway, man, just building one right there in front of everybody.
Smoking a roach.
And he looked up at me. The dude's already plastered. Like, he's got that, I can see that you're here, but I can't register what I'm looking at type look. And he looked back down. He's moving. Man. He's moving like a turtle, getting another one ready to go. I was like, golly, I don't know why anybody want to smell like a skunk, because that's all it smells like, skunk.
Yeah, reminds me of Coleraine. You walk, it's either Rumpke or weed.
Yeah,
is the way that
is. That's the smell. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
not that part, but it was fun.
Get rid of the devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Definitely, was it ADHD? Is that what you call it?
Oh, yeah. Podcast.
Yeah. A little bit of everywhere, Start with a little bit of Star Wars, National whatever day. Get into some serious stuff, Holocaust and all that. So, well, we hope you guys enjoyed it all. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Yeah.